The Bogdana Corporation is proud to present Let's Talk About Health with your host, Robert Anderson. He'll talk about all aspects of health, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now here's your host, Robert Anderson.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Let's Talk About Health. We're here today with Kathy Lee, and Kathy Lee is going to talk about her health, and she's going to speak about what happened to her heart problem when she started taking the Bogdana nutritional formulas. And, of course, we have many fine products in the Bogdana family of products, but that's the one that she started on. And before we welcome Kathy Lee to our show, we're going to set forth our thought for the day. We always like to begin with a thought for the day. And, of course, there's so much research today finally acknowledging that our thoughts are connected to our physical body and that they very well have an influence on the biochemistry within our body. If we have good thoughts, we have good biochemistry. If we have negative thoughts, pessimistic thoughts, anger, we end up with poor biochemistry, which in turn has a bad effect on the health of the body. And so, once again, we'll start with the thought for the day, and our thought today is by St. Francis de Sales, and I quote, "Be patient with everyone, but above all, with yourself." And that's a quote that I like because I've met people who love others, they're patient with others, but they're very rough on themselves. And I can't think of too many thoughts that would be worse for the physical health than someone who places excessive demands on the self, is intolerant of mistakes that he makes, is very short with himself, and just not understanding at all of his own faults. And even though one can be patient with other people, and one should, it's probably even more important to be patient with yourself, because that has a lot of implications for health and also for the well-being of the whole world. And another thought that I like that has to do with good thinking, and I think contributes to a sense of well-being within the body, is a thought about gratitude. And this really is something that I came upon as a result of being in contact with someone from the Joe Ray philosophy. And I quote that it's a basic truth that gratitude gives birth to gratitude, and that ingratitude creates more ingratitude. And that's because gratitude reaches God, while ingratitude reaches dark forces. And this is why those who are always grateful enjoy happiness and good fortune, while those who are ungrateful and constantly complain are unhappy and become more and more unfortunate. And I suppose maybe a simpler way of putting that is that like attracts like. And we also like to say something about health and nutrition, and we'll mention a little bit about that. And since our guest today, Kathy Lee, is going to talk about her heart problem that at one time she had, and she no longer has after being on the Bogdana nutritional formula for a while, we'll speak something about the theories about what nutrition helps the heart. There's a lot of people, there are a lot of nutritionists who feel that nutrients have play an important part in the health of the heart. And most people, most nutritionists feel that the following vitamins and nutrients are very essential to a healthy heart, and amongst those that are underscored as being especially influential or especially instrumental, rather, on having a good heart are vitamin C and, of course, ester C. We think the Bogdana Corporation views ester C as one of the best forms, if not the best form of vitamin C, simply because it stays in the body longer and it has metabolites that cause it to get better assimilated into the body, to stay in the body longer. And we like vitamin A, and beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin A in the form of fish liver oil, beta-carotene, vitamin E has so many studies and so many people supporting vitamin E as being a nutrient that enhances a healthy heart. Magnesium citrate has been cited as being important, calcium citrate, potassium, and also copper supplementation. There's some research indicating that copper supplementation is very important for a healthy heart, and also coenzyme Q10 and L-carnitine, which is an amino acid. Also, there's been some research suggesting the following, that there are certain cholesterol-lowering supplements, since cholesterol seems to play a large part in a healthy heart or an unhealthy heart. We might mention what some of the nutrients are that seem to lower cholesterol. Lecithin is a fat emulsifier, and lecithin is in so many different foods. For example, the egg has a lot of lecithin in it, and soybeans have lecithin in it. But lecithin is a fat emulsifier. In fact, you might want to try a little experiment and see what happens to fat that ordinarily coagulates. You might want to drop some lecithin in it, and you might see that the fat really never coagulates as it should, or hardens. Fish oils seem to be, like omega-3 fish oils, seem to be important for lowering cholesterol. Garlic seems to lower cholesterol, and chromium lowers cholesterol. That is chromium picolinate. Psyllium seed husks seem to have an influence on lowering cholesterol, and pantothenol, guar gum, GLA, by the way, in the form of evening primrose oil. There's been some research on that seems to suggest that influences lowering cholesterol. And also some blood thinning supplements are garlic, which we already mentioned, seems to thin the blood. Fish oil seems to thin the blood a little bit, and vitamin E and lecithin. Amino acids, there's a lot of research on amino acids and the importance of amino acids like L-taurine, L-glutamine, L-histidine on a healthy heart. And exercise, by the way, is also important for a healthy heart, and gradually building up, especially aerobic exercise, where you get out there and do some fast walking for a while, building up to it, of course, gradually. There's some research on the effect of aerobics on a healthy heart. And by the way, all of those nutrients, just about all of those nutrients, are in the Bogdana nutritional formula. And what's remarkable about the Bogdana nutritional formula is that all of the nutrients that we mentioned this moment have something unique about them. We do something very unusual to all 150 nutrients that we put in the Bogdana nutritional formula, and that is we break them all down to microscopic size, and that's so important. And the reason why it is important is because the biggest criticism of the old-fashioned vitamins is that they have a particle size that's too large to make entry through the tiny opening in the cell wall. And so most of them don't really get in. Only a small percentage get into the cell. But with the Bogdana nutritional formula, being that we break them all down to microscopic size, and we treat the nutrients with enzymes, which causes a reduction in the particle size of the Bogdana nutrients, a reduction to the point where they become microscopic. But they all because of that microscopic size of all of our nutrients, they all get into the tiny opening in the cell wall. If they're needed by the body, they all get in. And that's why we require such a small dosage of the Bogdana nutritional formula, because everything gets in if it's needed. And that's why the suggested dosage of a little less than the size of a dime twice a day is quite adequate for people, because it all gets in. None of it gets wasted. And by the way, we also like you not to take other vitamins along with our formula, because the formula is in perfect balance. All 150 of those microscopic nutrients are in perfect balance. And it took 20 years for our scientist, Joe Gruber, to put them all in perfect balance so that they are in the same ratio, the same proportion that we find them within food in nature. If you want more information about our nutritional formula or our skincare products or any of our fine products, or if you just want a free catalog that explains the unusual science behind the Bogdana nutritional formulas, skincare products, you might give us a call at 1-800-52-HEALTH. Think of 52 weeks of good health, HEALTH. Or if you'd like to order our nutritional formula, we have 3 sizes. We have a $29 1-month supply, $55 2-month supply, $79 3-month supply, and we have a money-back guarantee on the first purchase. So if you are a new customer, you have that window of opportunity where you can get that money-back guarantee. So you might want to order the economy size, the $79 size, give the formula a chance. It's not an overnight sensation, and anything like a magic bullet or an overnight sensation, we have to really wonder about. And of course, people have gotten sometimes some very fast results from Bogdana, but for myself, it took a while. So give us a call if you'd like to order that product. If you'd like to order the nutritional formula or a skincare product, we have a starter kit on the skincare product that retails for $39.95, consisting of all 6 of our skincare products, including the shampoo, and of course all of our skincare products have one thing in common, and I think they're the only truly skincare products in the world as far as underscoring the word care, skincare, because they're the only ones that I know of that are filled with nutrients also broken down to microscopic size. Our large collection retails for $239, and that lasts approximately 4 months. The small collection, the starter kit, lasts approximately 3 weeks. But the large collection is discounted from $297 when you buy all 6 items. They go down in price to $239. So once again, to order product or a free brochure, give us a call at 1-800-52-HEALTH or 1-800-524-3258. That's 1-800-524-3258. Operators are standing by now, as they will be all week long. And Kathy, I would like to welcome you to the show. We're with Kathy Lee today. And Kathy, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Well, we're really delighted to have you on our show. And what I like about Kathy is that just to hear her voice is healthy for people to listen to, because it's filled with optimism and being positive and enthusiasm. And it's interesting how certain people, when they speak, they can actually have an effect on the way you feel. And I think Kathy Lee is one of those people. Kathy, I'd like to welcome you to the show, and I'd like to also just have you tell your story about what happened with the Bogdana nutritional formula when you started taking it.
Well, I'm so happy to be able to tell you. There are really 2 reasons why. The last time I ordered my nutritional formula, I asked if there was any way that I could say something possibly on the radio, because I wanted to say 2 things. First of all, I wanted to thank you so much for having this spot on the radio, because through some act of God, I was driving in South Florida and was listening to the radio and heard you, and heard someone else talk about having the same problem that I had, or a similar problem. And because I heard that program, I thought, I'll just call and see what will happen if I take it. And if it doesn't work, I can always send it back. And so I did, and I'm just so excited, and I thank you so much. I do have an attitude of gratitude to you personally for having this program and for giving me the opportunity to hear about it. And then I wanted to share this with somebody else, just in case today someone might be listening that might have a similar problem to what I had, because it's been just a phenomenal thing for me.
I appreciate you saying that, but I don't want to interrupt you, because it sounds good to me. Just march on.
Well, I called the day after I heard about it and got it, and of course it comes literally overnight. Had it the very next day in my hands, and I took it, and I know you said there's usually not an overnight sensation, but that's exactly what happened for me. I have had kind of a very irregular heartbeat since I was about 10 years old, and tachycardias all my life since I was a very young child. And I was under care of a cardiologist. I've taken 2 or 3 medications to try to regulate my heart rate and stop the tachycardia, and just to deal with it. Been dealing with it all of my life. And so I just thought, I'll just try this. I did not expect it to work, had absolutely no expectations. And literally within 24 hours, my heart rate was stabilized. It has been stabilized for the months that I've been taking it all the time.
That's beautiful.
It's totally different.
That's really wonderful.
And the only thing I did, of course, I was so good, I thought I should take more, so I took a little extra. But it didn't hurt me, and I felt great, and I felt so much better, and I've told so many people about it, and everybody that's taken it that I've suggested to take it has tried it, and I just want to thank you so much. I'm so excited. But there was a radical difference. I went back to my cardiologist, by the way, Robert, and I told them what I did and what had happened, and they just said, well, sometimes we find that magnesium or other trace minerals sometimes can make a difference. I said, well, why didn't somebody tell me this?
They're finally acknowledging God's creation, nutrients.
Absolutely.
And that's good to hear.
Absolutely. So I love it. I do take the right amount now, and I sometimes I'm very, very busy. I have a very big business, and I work a lot, and I'm excited all the time. So it's like a positive stress, but I'm always going and doing, and I feel so much better when I take it. But sometimes I do take a little extra in the afternoon if I feel a little low, and it seems to give me some more energy. So
now, Kathy, just to back up a little bit. For those of you just tuned in, we're talking with Kathy Lee, who's one of our customers, and she had a remarkable thing happen to her when she took the Bogdana nutritional formula. And what was the diagnosis of your heart problem? What did the doctor call it again?
Well, I have ventricular tachycardia, but I had an irregular heart rate, And it would be so bad at night, every night, not just occasionally, but it was always irregular. But when I would lie down at night, I could look down and just see it jumping and missing and jumping, spluttering, and it just stopped. I mean, it didn't stop. My heart didn't stop. I mean, the irregularity stopped as soon as I started taking the formula, and I was just completely shocked. I couldn't, because I know that I didn't imagine it because I didn't start. I didn't expect it. It was
how much of your life?
24 hours.
But that's remarkable that it gave you that kind of help in 24 hours. But of course, we have to qualify that, because once in a while we do have people who come on who really they really feel almost like what the very thing that we say is we talk against about overnight sensation. Sometimes they get an immediate result from Bogdana, but it's not the norm. The norm is more or less what happened with me. I had a serious illness, and it was chronic fatigue, and I've talked about it so many times before, and how it disappeared from my body when I took Bogdana, and I had a very bad case of it, the worst my doctor had ever seen. But what I went through is I went through several months of cleansing or detoxification, and most people, of course, don't go through that kind of a detox. They go through a couple of months, and 9 out of 10 people barely know that anything is happening. And of course, the beauty of Bogdana is it's not the product that is cleaning people out. What's happening is that the energy, it's the only product in the world with energy, the energy in the product stimulates the cleansing system to come back to excellent working order. A multitude of poisons come out, and then also my theory is that once the poisons came out of my body, the immune system began to build up to the point where I finally rid myself of my disease. But it's a type of thing where generally it works, especially on sick people, the way it worked with me, and that was to be on it for a while. And although we've had many people like you who have reported, but not almost instant results, but it's not the average person. But I'm delighted that it happened to you.
Well, I'm not normal, so that.
Well, what's normalcy?
I think maybe I was just deficient in these minerals and vitamins, and as soon as they got in my system, I don't know what it could have been, because I think that the cardiologist said sometimes what I have can be like an electrical valve, like a little, your heart goes out of the circuitry somehow. And I think there's something about having the right balance of vitamins and minerals that keeps all that circuitry patterned properly.
Well,
or something, I don't know, but maybe as soon as I got it, because it was absolutely so. And,
well, what it does have, in the beginning of the show, of course, I mentioned all the different nutrients that there's been some research on, the natural nutrients that there's been some research on that seem to have a correlation with a healthy heart, and they seem to be good for the heart. And we mentioned so many of them, but amazingly, all of them are within Bogdana. And of course, the joy of Bogdana is, as a nutritional formula, is that they are all broken down to microscopic size. So they all can really have a chance to get into the tiny opening cell wall if the cell desires it, if they're required by the cell.
Yeah, I needed it, and it just went. Took it all in.
It probably absorbed it all.
I had a happy heart, so now I have a healthy one. Thank you so much.
But you mentioned your knowledge of how the heart, the body has an electrical quality in it. And one thing about Bogdana that's totally revolutionary and totally unique is the fact that Bogdana is the only nutritional formula that has energy within it, actual energy, and it's the first time in history that that's ever occurred. It took our research scientist 20 years to achieve that, where he was able to instill and hold, that is, energy in a liquid formula. Somehow it's held in there by the trace minerals, and more than that I can't tell you too much. It's more or less a secret of his. But it is there, and there are definite signs that it is within the formula. But I'm wondering, too, if perhaps the energy might also have had an effect on the well-being of your heart. Now, the energy in it, people often ask, well, what is that energy? It's electromagnetic energy at the correct frequency for the human body, which makes it identical, really, to the energy that nature puts in every cell of your body. But it's how long did you have that heart problem where you had the...
Well, I turned 50 last December, and I've had it since I was 10 years old.
You've had that heart problem for 40 years? I can imagine also that when you have a heart problem like that, it must be kind of frightening throughout your lifetime.
It's always been just very scary. But as I've gotten older, the irregularity of my heart got more irregular, and I would have more severe tachycardia when I had it, and then I would always have to go to the hospital and get an IV and get a blast of medication to bring my heart back into control again. So This has been just absolutely wonderful.
You know, and you know what people are going to say also, Kathy Lee?
What?
People are going to say, well, it happened so fast. It must have been psychosomatic.
Oh,
it must
no,
have been
it was
psychological.
Not. It definitely was not.
She must have believed in the product,
well,
and therefore it worked.
I'll tell you why I'm positive. My mother, God bless her, she's been a real health fanatic all of my life, since back in the 50s, as far back as I can remember. My mother's always taken, mega doses of everything. She's been in wonderful health, and she's so cute. She's 76, and I just got her on this formula now because she would take a suitcase she probably took 20, 25 pills every day, vitamin pills, no medication. But she feels well because she takes all this stuff, but she just had to swallow pills all day long. So because of that, see, I didn't really think, I didn't want to take any. I didn't like them. I didn't, really, I had a real negative attitude about it. I was not expecting it to work. I only tried it because I heard someone program say that they had something with their heart, some cardiac thing that was corrected. And I go, well, if there's a money-back guarantee, I have nothing to lose. I'll just try it for 30 days, and if it doesn't work, I'll send it back. So I did not expect it. I'm absolutely positive it was not that, and I can't say that I had massive energy right away, but I did notice a difference. Probably within the first.
And what's
few
also
weeks.
interesting too, it couldn't be psychosomatic because it's not a product that you really believed in. You more or less tried it on a lark, and it was kind of like the type of thinking that I see you going through at the time that you ordered Bogdana. Well, nothing else has worked, and let me try this. Kind of the idea that people have is they're going over Niagara Falls in their motorboat or in their cabin cruiser, and they have one last lever out of the 10 that they haven't pulled, and they say, well, let me try this. And so you really didn't come into the product or taking the product with a positive attitude that this is going to work. So it couldn't have been psychosomatic. But for those people out there who share the same experience as your mother, where they're taking 15 or 30 vitamins a day, and they're at the point where they'd rather shoot themselves than go through another day of taking out of 30 bottles of vitamins, we do have a nutritional formula that Kathy Lee has been talking about and speaking about in a very positive way, talking about how it affected her heart problem. And actually, one of the beautiful things about Bogdana Nutritional Formula is that we really strongly recommend to people that they not take other vitamins with the formula. We advise you very strongly not to take other vitamins with the formula. And that's very important because the formula is in perfect balance. All 150 nutrients are in perfect balance. And it took our scientists 20 years to achieve that, where we put all the nutrients and minerals in the same ratio and proportion that we find them within nature. So if you take other vitamins along with our formula, you'll upset the balance of the Bogdana Nutritional Formula. And we do have plenty of vitamin C, by the way, in our nutritional formula. But vitamin C is the one nutrient that if you want to take more, you certainly can. You may not need it. We do have quite a bit in there, and you might be wasting your money. But vitamin C will not interfere with the balance of the Bogdana Nutritional Formula. We also advise you when you take the formula that we strongly recommend to you that you drink a minimum of 5 glasses of water every day during the first 2 months during the detoxification or cleansing phase. So that you'll help flush out those poisons and you're less likely to have detoxification symptoms. And by the way, 9 out of 10 people who take the formula, everyone who takes Bogdana has to detoxify, but 9 out of 10 people detoxify through the urinary tract and the bowels, and they hardly know anything is happening. So do, though, stick to the recommended dosage of a little less than the size of a dime twice a day, because if you take more during the first 2 months, you might stimulate an unpleasant detoxification. We have 3 sizes. We have a $29 1-month supply, $55 2-month supply, $79 3-month supply, and there's a money-back guarantee on your first purchase, as Kathy Lee said before. And we have skincare products and Cholestaway and so many fine products. If you'd like to order a catalog that thoroughly describes the interesting science behind the Bogdana Nutritional Formulas, skincare products, or if you'd like to order product, of course we put a catalog in every order, in every box, you might give us a call at 1-800-52-HEALTH, HEALTH. Think of 52 weeks of good health. Or 1-800-524-3258. That's 1-800-524-3258. Operators are standing by now, as they will be all week long. And we do have to remember, too, that that when we take Bogdana, that we can't, as much as I'm praising Bogdana, and of course I think people can realize my enthusiasm, and I was a customer just like Kathy Lee at one time when I started taking the formula. And I think you can understand my enthusiasm and Kathy Lee's enthusiasm because we've gone through a very nice healing catharsis, one might say. Mm-hmm. And so we're rather enthusiastic about the product. But as enthusiastic and as positive as we are about the product, we have to remember that the true miracle of healing lies within the human body. Mm. God's creation, the human body, and the body can perform amazing miracles if it has the necessary raw materials. And so where Bogdana comes in is that the Bogdana nutritional formula gives the body the necessary raw materials so that the body can heal itself. It's the body that does the healing. And for those people, by the way, who just tuned in, you're listening to Let's Talk About Health with me, Robert Anderson, and this program is sponsored by the Bogdana Corporation, and we're here talking with Kathy Lee. And Kathy, how is your mother doing at this particular time? How is she feeling?
She's doing great. She loves it.
So not only did you go through a positive experience with Bogdana, and of course your experience with Bogdana is profound because you've just reported to us that a heart problem that you've had for 40 years has disappeared, and rather quickly at that. And I just want to underscore once again to people that this is not the norm, but for those people who have heard a lot of the Bogdana radio shows, you know that every so often we come across a person like Kathy Lee who is able to report to us a wonderful experience that they've had in a relatively short amount of time. And so although it does happen, it's not the norm. Most of the time it's a process. We have to remember that when the body has been diagnosed with an illness, very often that particular illness, it's taken perhaps maybe 10 years for the body to degenerate to the point where the doctor can diagnose it and name it with a label. And so any time when we really consider it, it's rather unusual, or one can't really expect to be well or to go through a healing experience in such a short amount of time. It took so long perhaps for us to reach the point of degenerated health that we've gotten to. We have to give the formula a chance, and we have to give the body a chance to do its healing job. But you're saying with your mom that she's feeling pretty good right now.
She's feeling great. She's so happy to not have to be taking all those vitamins and pills, minerals all day. She's taking so many. She's probably taking 20, 25 every day. So she's very happy to take just the liquid. It's so much easier.
Has she experienced, of course, you've experienced something profound, but has your mother, has she experienced anything noticeable?
I couldn't say that she's feeling necessarily a lot better. She's only been on it for maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, you see,
but she was concerned that when she stopped taking her regular regimen, that something was terrible was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. She's so happy that she's still feeling great, and she is she's wonderful. She's always feeling great. She's always happy. It wouldn't matter when I call her. She's always doing great. So she's just happy that she can take it. Take 2 little third of a teaspoon twice a day instead of carrying around literally a suitcase full of vitamins and mineral pills.
I think she's got some nice surprises ahead of her because actually the first 2 months, that's the period where we go through detoxification and cleansing. And during detoxification, one might tend to feel slight fatigue. And you don't really, most people report that they don't actually begin to feel the energy and the good benefits from our formula until detoxification is over, which is about the 3rd month. So I think she might be in for some very nice surprises. And also, I'd just like to say for all of you out there in the listening audience, first of all, Kathy Lee, I want to express my appreciation for you coming on the show, and for all of you out there in the listening audience, this has been Robert Anderson and Kathy Lee, wishing all of you good health, and hoping that you live each day as though it were your first day, your last day, and your only day.
To obtain further information or to order the Bogdana products, call 1-800-52-HEALTH. That's 1-800-524-3258.